NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast and another friendly face on the line. Who the fuck are you, and what do you do?
What's up, man? My name is Evan Santangelo, skydiver in San Antonio here. Normally jump at a small little drop zone. It's called Skydive Castroville, right to the west of San Antonio, and it's been a lot of fun for me recently. I'm also an LO at Skydive Spaceland San Marcos, so every now and then I'll go up there and kind of have some fun with friends and do bigger wave stuff.
I was going to say, it's kind of a nice area to be jumping because there's a few options for different operations to go play, yeah?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So San Marcos is the turbine. Castroville is 206 right now, and so it's kind of more solo high pull stuff. But I've done a bunch of fun turbine stuff in the past, and so now I think kind of shifting a little bit more towards like crew and just unique jumps. That's kind of I'll talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, that's kind of what I love right now.
So how'd you get started in all of it? I always jump all my guests back to not necessarily skydiving, but into anything that the general public would consider extreme.
Yeah, what's funny actually is a lot of the guys that I talk to, I ask kind of the same question, like, hey, why did you get into skydiving? and I usually am able to trace it back to a breakup, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's like that's the common theme. Thing is like, they broke up with a girlfriend, boyfriend, something like that, and then decided skydiving was the next thing. That wasn't the case for me, honestly. I think let's see how far back do I want to go. Yeah, so I think probably just having a trampoline in the backyard was kind of, the start of just doing a bunch of stuff. My parents were like, "Yeah, we don't need no net. You guys figure it out. If you break yourself, well, you probably shouldn't do it again. We'll get you fixed. We got insurance. We'll do that kind of stuff." So,
Sure.
um,
That's a
yeah,
very
started on the
that's a
trampoline.
very Gen X mentality, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it was more of the freedom to screw up and I mean kind of get hurt, like we're drinking from the water hose, that whole everything that kind of comes with that, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so trampoline got a lot of I think that's where I learned a lot of my kind of physical abilities or my physical awareness.
Mm,
And so just doing flips, rigging up tree houses, jumping off of trees onto the pool, stuff like that. Fast forward a few years, parents ended up getting some wave runners, and so we kind of took all that physical activity to the lake.
mm.
Got super super creative because we were driving our friends to the lake at 17, 18 years old, and my parents were at home just doing whatever they do. And yeah, it was like, yep, I hope you guys are being safe.
Nice.
So
Nice.
lots of freedom there, which I appreciated a lot actually. And so once that kind of ran its course at the lake, we did all like wakeboarding, water skiing, slaloming, barefoot skiing as well. And then we kind of just started getting bored of the lake. And so what we would do is either we would go out there with some friends and literally just chill. This is when gas was super expensive, so we just pay the launch fee, go to our spot, park up on the shore, and really just talk and hang out with friends, which is just a great bonding, experience. And then we've, sat around and started, hey, we need to start doing some more stuff. And so we would bring some, like, you remember those little ramps that I guess you could buy that you would set up with like tabletops for skateboarding and
Sure.
scootering and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
We took those out to the lake actually. I'm pretty sure they're still out there somewhere actually. Because we never returned them, but we put them on the shore, rigged up a ski rope, and I remember we went thrift shopping and found a one of those trainer water skis. So we would sit down on that, put it on the shore, pull it over the ramp, get launched probably 5, 10 foot in the air with a motorcycle helmet on, just shenanigan, like kind of jackass type of stunt, or maybe more
Sure.
nitro circus kind of stunts. That was like that, and this was in addition to finding some cliffs to jump off of, and just cliff jumping and doing flips and stuff like that. So skydiving, I think, was kind of the next thing for me. It wasn't really triggered by a breakup. I had always wanted to do that. Um,
Was there something
so
specifically that kind of aimed you towards it? Was it a movie or videos
yeah,
you'd
so
seen?
so there's and to this day I still cannot find the clip, but it was like one of those really old school. Um, I don't know if it was sponsored by Red Bull or not, but it was like one of those Red Bull productions that looked like it was filmed on like a Nokia flip phone or a
Sure.
Motorola Razr or something like that. It was just terrible quality.
Right.
And the wingsuit that this guy was flying was, something that was like a Phantom, something really, really old, right? But he was flying down the side of a mountain, and it was basically the beginning of heli base, I think.
Mm,
And so I thought that was just one of the coolest freaking things that I've ever seen. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that one day.
sure.
So I think that's what my first experience to kind of knowing that I wanted to do that, or kind of figuring out that that's what I wanted to do.
Sure.
And so fast forward to now, I mean that's kind of heli base. I'm not into any base right now. I've kind of not given up that idea, but kind of shifted priorities.
Sure.
So yeah, that was probably when I was 15, 16. And then yeah, when I was old enough, my dad pulled me out of school and we went and did a tandem. I think I was like 18, maybe a week after my 18th birthday or something like that.
Nice.
And threw up on final. That was fun. Just because I had my mouth open the entire time, and then I remember it was just like all salty, and yeah, I hadn't eaten anything that entire day, and I was just
Yep.
like dry heaving. I felt so bad for my TI. which
It's kind of
yeah.
funny, dude. I did the exact same thing. Free fall was fucking amazing. The parachute opened up, and I think 30 seconds into it, I'm like, fuck, fuck, man. And it
Yeah,
was, I
I don't
just,
remember exactly what triggered it, but yeah, I remember on like final, I was probably 200 feet off the ground, and I was just trying not to go
oh
straight down. I was trying to go
no.
off to the side, and yeah, not great, but it kind of fell down on the ground when I landed. And I was like, all right, give me a minute, give me a minute. And this video guy is trying to do his job, literally just trying to do
Right.
his job. Like, how was that, man? I'm like, oh, give me a sec, dude.
How funny is it that anything that ends up with puking can still be so fucking amazing that you have to go
For
out and do
sure,
it
man.
again, right? I mean, even people that you throw up because you drank too much, most people will still step back for a while and go, all right, I need to back off of that. But skydiving, you're like, yeah, I almost puked on that last load. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I got another story for that from wingsuit flat spins. I did like two back to back, really bad flat spins, and then went up on a free fly jump. I don't know why, but
Sure.
uh, yeah,
As you'll do, as you'll
yeah,
do.
exactly. It's kind of just like, all right, I'm here. I made the hour and a half drive to the drop zone. I'm not going home.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, now it's kind of funny because as you tell the story, it dawns on me that you kind of really are a member of the first generation to be inspired by stuff like the wingsuit proximity flying, which
sure.
used to be the bane of my existence as a tandem instructor because it was kids like you that were coming out going, I just want a wingsuit, man, and
Yeah.
super gung ho. But it's really cool to sit down and talk to somebody that saw something like that and turned that kind of vague, crazy inspiration into what you've done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was really cool. And like I said, I still have it pictured in my mind. I can't find it anywhere on the internet though.
How funny
And
is that?
so I don't know where it was, who sponsored it or anything like that, what to search to look for it. I've tried,
Sure.
but nah. It would be cool to find that again though.
For sure. Now, as all this was kind of getting into your psyche as you were younger, at 16, 17, 18 years old, did you have a plan for the future? Were you going to school for anything specific, or was it just let's see what comes?
Yeah, so that was also kind of the beginnings of so I do a lot in skydiving right now, but I'm also a musician, and so
Nice.
I play professionally in churches. I've done that for probably the last probably 12 to yeah, 12, 15 years or so.
Wow.
And so I absolutely love that. Get to play with some really, really talented people. And so I didn't know how far I would take that, but I was, doing that. That was kind of building as well. And so now I'm continuing to do that. I've been doing that for a while, and it's part of my life now, part of my identity, I guess.
You are
And so,
absolutely the first church musician I've ever had on the podcast,
okay, cool, cool.
without a doubt.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I do a lot in church. We've got here in San Antonio, we've got probably one of the nicest venues to play at pretty much every week. We've got some insane equipment, some very top of the line equipment. So I'm very privileged to be able to just be there in that environment and play with so many different people from different backgrounds, which is super cool. So we've
Well, and
got
you're
some
all
classically,
I was
yeah,
going
go
to say
ahead.
you're also in an area that's known for its musicians and its eclectic music.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's great. We've got some Tejano keyboard players, which is cool. Classically trained pianists, and just some other worship guys as well. And so it's like this whole different mesh of awesome people just coming together to put on something every single week. And we've got a big team, so it kind of rotates. But it's great. It's great. It's honestly really really great people. I love being there. But yeah, so I was working in. Yeah, still going to school, still in high school, and then did 2 years at a community college, and just majored in business, and so knew I wanted to do something with business. That was kind of calling me, and so where else was I going? I got accepted to Texas A&M College. I was looking forward to going there just for the experience, all that kind of stuff, and then ended up taking a job doing audio visual installs like home theaters, very high end home theater systems,
Sure.
and so that was cool for a little bit. And did that with a buddy of mine who's no longer a buddy, and so yeah, that just kind of fell apart there. Started my own company, did that for a little bit, and now it's kind of been just more content creation. But all through that, I've kind of been doing a lot of video editing and
Sure.
just kind of mixing and matching
So now you
skill
said
set.
You said your dad took you out for that first tandem skydive, but
Yeah.
at what point did you realize that this was something you wanted to continue? And when that happened, what did the family think of it?
When I actually had enough money, man. Skydiving ain't cheap. Aviation ain't cheap, dude.
No, it isn't.
So, yeah, when I had enough money, I knew it was going to be kind of a bigger investment and, forget 18, 19, 20, something like that. It's like, okay, you got, 2 grand, maybe. I mean, realistically, you're spending what, like 10 grand your first year in skydiving to get a rig, to get training, to get jumps, to
Oh yeah,
cameras, altimeters, helmets, all that kind of stuff, right? So I mean that's a pretty big commitment for someone who's not, you know, already established and all that kind of stuff.
sure.
So yeah, so I really just kind of looked at it piece by piece, and I did a second tandem actually maybe 2 years after that one with my sister and a few friends as well. We went to a small 182 drop zone as well, and yeah, then I think. So it was probably about 7 years ago. I'm coming up on 32, so I was probably 20, 23, 24, 25 when I started skydiving. And yeah, parents were like, "Yeah, let's do it." I mean, my dad pulled me out of school to go, do a tandem. So he was like, "Yeah, if you want to do it, go for it." Really was more my decision, and they were like, "Yeah, do whatever you want." All right, cool.
Did you have a
Um,
specific focus in the sport that you wanted to go towards, or was it
I
just kind
mean,
of open-ended?
just for that wingsuit video, I think wingsuit being able to recreate that and kind of live that had initially been my goal.
Hmm,
Like I said, priorities have shifted now. I have really not too much interest in bass right now. I haven't done any bass actually. And so yeah, it was really just kind of go out there and have fun, experience things. I loved the first experience that I had, and so yeah, just kind of wanted to see where it went, where it developed with kind of wingsuit as a goal in the future. I know I had to have 200, and so just started working my way there, and having fun along the way. That was pretty much
sure.
the goal, really, just to have fun, live in the moment, kind of, enjoy what I was doing then.
Now, as you were working towards that goal, because it was a pretty specific goal in mind with the wingsuiting, throughout the 200 jumps that you're building as you're aiming for this, did your perspective change? I mean, because a lot of shit happens in 200 jumps.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So a lot of it was a shift in drop zone actually. So the drop zone that I was at was a larger drop zone, larger tandem operation. The very well oiled machine when it comes to tandems. And I think training program as well. The training program was really good. The culture, however, was a little bit different. And so not it wasn't really my speed. Whereas, I think there was some culture issues that I didn't relate with, and what I mean by that is it seemed to be a lot of negative reinforcement when you did something wrong rather than more of like teaching moments.
sure,
um because there's tons of, I mean, sub 200, you have no clue what you're doing, and you're making all these mistakes, and I didn't understand why I was trying to do the right thing and getting yelled at for it. I'm
sure,
like, hey, look, I'm literally trying to follow your rules, trying to do this, kind of stuff. And I saw other people getting yelled at for stuff. It just didn't seem very, very healthy.
sure,
And so sometimes you need to get yelled at though, dude. And people that are making repeat offenders and whatnot should
sure,
absolutely get yelled at. But if you're just going to come out of the gate swinging and try and scare someone into doing the right thing, I just didn't relate with that very much. And so kind of went across the road, almost literally actually. So there was a very big, drop zone, well, tandem factory basically. And then right next to it was kind of more of a cowboy drop zone, right?
hmm,
And so it was much smaller. We had just a King Air, and yeah, it was much more of like a good family feel. Um, Apparently before I had got there, there was a lot of issues with, just drugs running through there and all that kind of stuff, not very healthy. But I didn't really see any of that. So I'm guessing that I kind of got there as soon as the new owner took over. And the people seemed honestly pretty great, and so it was a much smaller environment. I didn't see any of the yelling, any of the getting angry at people and screwing up for screwing up. It seemed more of a teaching free environment. And so I noticed that it was kind of more of a no rules drop zone. And I feel like that's kind of the case with any drop zone in the US. You either have a lot of rules, very strict, or no rules drop zone,
Sure.
it's kind of you're on the spectrum between those two. And so this was very much a no rules drop zone. And I saw that from the beginning and realized, okay, hold on. If there's no one around to police me, or if there's no one going to yell at me, I better, know my own limits by asking a lot of questions.
Sure.
And so, I knew that I wasn't experienced and I wanted to kind of start learning how to navigate certain things because I had some ideas. The more that you learn, the more ideas you have. And that's kind of what I was about. I loved the freedom of it, but I was also cautious that too much freedom can make you go crazy and kind of, I didn't want to
Sure.
get myself into anything I didn't want to write a check my ass couldn't
Sure,
cash, right?
sure. Well,
So,
it's
so yeah,
it's kind of disappointing that and it's certainly not always the case, but a lot of big tandem operations are great with the tandem portion of things and even great with the student portion training of things, but then you're literally just left on your own and you try and learn what you're supposed to do with very little guidance and you end up getting yelled at because it was, well, shit, I graduated. Now it's a fuck off, go jump.
mhm,
It's a very difficult thing. Whereas with the smaller drop zones that tend to be a lot more community oriented because
exactly.
people come to stick around, you have that potential for mentorship
Right.
and learning both good and some pretty fucking bad
Sure,
habits too.
sure, absolutely. And that's why you can't just pick one mentor. You gotta start asking a lot of questions from a lot of different people and then basically collaborate all that information or kind of sort through it and figure out what makes the most sense
Sure.
and what doesn't. And so that's what I related with a whole lot more. And I really, really loved that kind of community family feel because I was able to do pretty much anything that I wanted. I mean, there's this thing in San Antonio around like Fiesta time where they have these eggs that are filled with confetti. And you put paper mache on top of them and you smash them over each other's head. So we took those in the sky, just having fun with them and
Sure.
just stuff like that, like hula hoop jumps. Not, I mean, just very, very unique, different jumps that you probably wouldn't be able to do at a more strict drop zone. And so
Sure.
I get it. With more people, you need more rules. You have more hotheads. You got more people that are wanting to push the limits, and then all of the other people see that and they're like, "Oh, well, I want to do that too,"
Sure.
rather than asking the right questions, following the right path, and all that kind of stuff. So,
Sure.
yeah,
It was kind of the same on my end, I suppose, in that I learned at a Cessna drop zone just outside of Las Vegas was my home DZ, and
okay,
once you graduated, you'd gather with the one or two other fun jumpers that were out there that day, squeeze onto a 206 with
yeah,
a couple of tandems and go do your thing. But I learned an awful lot that way because you didn't have anybody. You'd literally go, okay, I'm gonna grab your ankle and you grab my hip and we'll
yeah,
try
yeah,
and
yeah,
roll,
yeah,
and you just fucking never knew what happened. And they were
right,
zoo dives all the time, but you learned a lot. And then
sure,
we'd take the road trip down to Paris Valley, which was a very intense, turban, super busy operation, and had a lot more of the rules because they'd seen the good and the bad. But that's the place that you went for skills.
right,
So
exactly.
you had experience at the drop zone where there was nobody looking out for you because you just had to figure that shit out. But then you went out to get the proper skills from people that fucking knew from the
Right.
bigger drop zones, which was a fun way to do it.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And what I've noticed at kind of the smaller community drop zones is that there's a much lower problem of clicks. With larger drop zones, you have the belly guys, you got the angle guys, you got the wingsuiters, and the free flyers. They never talk to each other. They
Sure.
rarely talk to each other, and so you get all of this concentrated skill at the larger drop zones within one discipline, but they don't know how to do anything else. And there's
Sure.
nothing wrong with that. If you want to go do 2,000 jumps in a wingsuit and, you've got 2,200 jumps total, more power to you if that's what you like. I, my approach has been a little bit different. And I learned that once I got the opportunity to be an LO at that small drop zone with like three or 400 jumps, something ridiculously, lower than I should have been to be LOing, but I was putting a lot of work in the tunnel. And I think the drop zone owner, I had built a really good relationship with him, and he kind of understood that I was trying to be technical in my thinking. And he could see that I was looking out for people and wanting them to learn, you know. But yeah, so there was a lot less problem of clicks at this cowboy drop zone, and that's what I
Sure.
loved. Like we would still give each other shit all the time, like, oh, you stupid angle flyers, oh, you stupid wingsuiter, oh, stupid free flyers, you know, whatever. Um, but it was more community building because we built
Sure.
very solid friendships that developed to things outside of skydiving.
Sure.
You have your friends at the drop zone, you know, but then you make friends that are everywhere, that can kind of go into other aspects of your life,
Sure.
which is really cool. And I loved that our friendship didn't stop at skydiving, because
Sure.
that drop zone closed. You know, that drop zone closed maybe 3 years ago. And so it gave us, it really, we didn't really have that place to go jump, so we had to find a different drop zone, but we're all still very good friends, and
Sure.
they're very good people. We were fortunate enough to have a really good culture there.
Well, and that kind of thing, it's absolutely priceless, right? I mean, I think the staple of a good skydiving community is being able to, in jest, tell someone to fuck off because they, are doing something goofy, right? Like
Sure.
one of my closest friends in the world, instead of saying miss you or love you every time we say goodbye to each other, she says, "Hey, fuck you." And
Sure.
I absolutely love having that kind of stuff, where as soon as you step into a place that does have those clicks and where you don't feel quite as welcome within everybody, you tend to not be yourself because you don't know how little or how much you can do.
Right. Yeah, so I thought that was a really good family environment, and that's what I valued, you know, quite a bit. It was very much going to hang out with your friends and jump, rather than to go jump and your friends would be there, you
Sure.
know.
Sure.
So a little bit more perspective on that, yeah.
Now, when did you finally reach that goal of putting a wingsuit on the first time?
Yeah, so I had to do it myself actually. Yeah, this was, shoot, I don't even know when this was. Started in maybe 2017 or so. It maybe took me a year or two to get to 200. And then and at this drop zone, it was, you know, the DZM was like, yeah, put on a wingsuit whenever you want. You know, I was like, I'm gonna wait till 200 just because, you know, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. So I think I waited till like 220 or something like that.
All right.
But yeah, it was the first few jumps were a shit show, man. But it was cool because I had to figure it out.
Sure.
And I think that that's been throughout my entire skydiving life, has been one of the most rewarding things, coming up to a challenge, and I've taken that into much higher level stunts as well. Um, Coming up with a challenge and figuring out the logistics behind it, to be able to execute it the best way possible. And that's kind of been something that I've been working on a lot lately, just with the different stuff that I'm trying to come up with. And so, yeah, it was cool. I kind of just bought a suit that kind of fit me. I knew a few guys who had wingsuited before, and so I called guys who were not only very experienced, but also guys who had literally just done their first few wingsuit jumps, and said,
Mm,
"Hey, tell me your experience. You know, this is what the expert guys say, but I want to know what you're experiencing right here as, you know, a brand spanking new wingsuit." This guy had maybe 5 to 10 jumps. I was like, "Hey, tell me what happened. What were you expecting? What was different about it than what you expected, you know?" So just trying to get perspective from people all over the place, and then, you know, have that wealth of information to kind of sort through it myself. And so yeah, I kind of just went off and sent it. I bought an Intruder Piranha, which was a super old suit. I still have it. I'm never getting rid of that thing, actually. It's a trash suit. It's absolutely garbage. Even, I mean, it's probably the surface area of a funk or a squirrel, a low key right now. But the technology just is not there. Swifts will outfly me no problem, you know, with much less surface area. So it's really cool to see how far the technology has come. Um, but yeah, so I went, sent that. tumbled a whole bunch out the plane, but it was a suit that was extremely, extremely forgiving. And so I knew that just reading some reviews, talking to some people who had flown that suit, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you can fly it without a leg wing, you'll be fine," you know. And so yeah, I was just kind of taking all that information, and then doing a first jump, absolutely botching the exit, flipping, tumbling all over the place, and then adjusting for the next one, you know.
Now, what was the progression like for you? I mean, I've had
Let's
people
not
tell
let's not ask me about that one, dude. Yeah, there's gonna be like everyone listening to this be like, yeah, see, he did it, so I can do it now.
well, that's why
So
it's got to be a cautionary tale.
yeah, yeah. So disclaimer, do as I say, not as I did. So yeah, I did flew an intruder piranha for a little bit. This was mixing. I didn't just go straight wingsuit and then, you know, keep flying. I think learning over all the years, I've learned that wingsuiting is not necessarily about tracking or being good at angle flying. It's very much more about body awareness.
Sure.
And so the more that you can get those horny gorillas out of the way, those attempted sit flies, you can feel the wind a lot more. And that will allow you to be a better wingsuiter. It's honestly what I tell all my students is wingsuiting, your first few wingsuits is literally a belly jump with the suit just pushing you forward.
Sure.
And so, rather than, you know, and it's funny because all of the guys who work on so much angle to get towards wingsuiting, they do a lot worse than the guys who are learning to free fly, doing all the goofy jumps and, you know, kind of having fun, spending a little bit of time in the tunnel. They breeze right through a first flight course, whereas the angle guys will have a much more difficult time because they try to fly a wingsuit with their ass up, like, you know, angle flyers do, and it just the suits do not like that. The
Sure.
suits, it's a more advanced way to fly the suit because you've got so much more surface area to manage. So yeah, I learned a little bit about that. Yeah, learned maybe. So I probably put about 30 to 50 jumps on that intruder piranha and then bought a Freak 2, which was an extremely poor decision. It was an extremely poor decision and not one that I would recommend for anyone. I didn't even unzip the internal pressure, dude. Like just straight up sent it, and that was
I
probably one
mean,
of the dumbest things that I've ever done.
for anybody listening, that would be like going from a fucking Sapphire 150 to a 79 Leia.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just dude, that was not a good idea. I mean, so don't do and the even stupider part is that I was using a standard pilot chute. And so yeah, I had a Saber one as a canopy. A lot of people are gonna be like, what the hell are you doing flying a Freak with a Saber one? I've found actually a really great formula that works really well. If you actually learn to flare, um, your airspeed gets cut down to, you know, 50 knots or so, 40, 50 knots at your deployment speed. So it's like having a really hard opening from a Saber at, you know, half or a fraction of, you know, terminal. So
Sure.
yeah, Sabers suck at terminal, but they're square canopies. They fly very, very stable. They don't have a crazy amount of performance built into them. You can still swoop them, and they're going to get you back from a long spot better than, you know, a seven cell, you know, something like that. So
Sure. Sure.
so that's kind of the formula that I've worked out. It works out really great for me. And yeah, a lot of people will be like, "What the hell are you doing? You have a death wish or something like that?" But I'm like, "Come on, guys, you don't know anything." And
Well, I
so
mean, you survived the transition from
yeah.
that very docile suit to one that is anything but docile.
Well,
So,
the thing was, well, I wasn't even flaring then. I was kind of like just, all right, reach back, pull, and hope for the best. So what sucked actually, and I had to learn this the hard way. I've got a video of this, honestly kind of terrifying. Once I started learning how to flare, that airspeed got cut, you know, all the way down to 40, 50 knots or so. And so the less airspeed that you have, the less effective that pilot chute's going to be. And so, man, I went up flared with a 360 camera on my face, started sinking back into it. Pilot chute didn't work, got sucked straight up back into the burble. Man, it was terrifying. I was like, dude, I need a sky snatch right now. And so
Sure.
ended up getting a sky snatch, and yeah, now I know. Now I
I was
know.
gonna say, jumping a standard pilot chute, there must have been numerous times that your fucking heart rate got going on deployment.
So, not really, because I knew that in the smaller suit, my airspeed was higher. I just had forward momentum,
Sure.
or forward movement, and so the airspeed is really what is the variable there. The lower the airspeed, obviously, the sky snatch is going to function a lot better. But yeah, it's just like I said, some stuff that I learned. I take guys for first flight courses and say you don't need a standard wingsuit pilot chute right now. You're still going almost terminal. You're barely getting more out of the suit than a normal free fall right now.
Sure.
And so you still have a lot of the airspeed. It is the proper way to do things. It is, but there's some margin built in there.
So now I was lucky enough to have Nicholas Scalabrino and Matt Munting on the podcast quite a few times, and they had both really highlighted the fact that their skills in a wingsuit were as high as they were because they were also both working very hard on their free flying skills. Is that something you recommend to people that are coming to you for learning how to fly the wingsuit?
So a lot of tunnel work is going to be great as well. Like I said, belly work and also just body awareness skills in general. So yeah,
Sure.
go do some tracking jumps. But I would say that a guy who is looking to get into wingsuiting that has 200 tracking jumps versus 200 all around jumps of just doing literally all the stuff that you got to get out of the way in the beginning. You got to do your horny gorillas, got to do your tube exits, your trains, just docking belly stuff. Those guys are going to have a much easier time in their first flight course than guys who are dedicating themselves to tracking or angle flying.
And I can see that as well. It's such a variety of experience that you're getting and in so
Exactly.
many different angles and so many different orientations,
Right.
especially the strange ones, right? Because I mean, even
Sure.
just at the beginning when you're learning how to skydive, what's the hardest thing to teach a student skydiver? What their legs are doing, because
Yeah.
they can't
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
them anymore. They're back there flopping around somewhere, and their
Yeah.
brain has yet to interpret the feelings of free fall yet. So I can imagine that exactly what you're describing is the perfect way to do it.
Well, I think just to add to that, I think it's the ability to reorientate yourself. In tracking, you're kind of flying in the same position. With the other jumps, you're constantly moving. If you're flipping around, it's basically instability recovery. Wingsuits are not dangerous. Getting in a flat spin in a wingsuit is dangerous though. And
Sure.
so that's instability. So I think instability recovery is one of the biggest things that I integrate into my first flight course, just because you need to be able to recover from instability because that's what is going to be the ultimate danger to you. Once you get it flying, the suit is really easy. A lot of this, especially the newer suits, they kind of fly themselves, and you just kind of guide them around.
Mm.
The more that you fight a suit, the more trouble you're going to have.
Sure. Well, the instability stuff, I mean, that kind of goes through all levels of skydiving as well. I
Yeah.
mean, I vividly remember wondering at what point would I learn how to fly just a normal exit out of an airplane as you're a student skydiver trying to learn, and then one day you wake up and go out and realize that there is no way to leave the airplane without you knowing where you're at in the sky and being able to fly your way out of it. And it's a very neat thing. It's also kind of depressing to know you can't truly get unstable just on your own. Now you add something like a wingsuit, and obviously that changes
Yeah.
dramatically.
Yeah.
So tell me about these flat spins. You were going to tell me a story about kind of
Oh,
fucking yourself up.
yeah, so wingsuit head down has been the ultimate goal for me since the initial goal of just learning how to wingsuit. Being able to carve around both belly flyers and free flyers is one guy did it to me, and he was in an ATC, I think, and I was like, that is one of the coolest things in the entire world. There was like three of us, and this wingsuiter was just going around just carving around three belly flyers, and he just made it look so freaking easy, and I was like, that is what I want to do one day. And so yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been one of the hardest things that I've had to learn in skydiving. and it's such a weird. Luckily, I have, I've got a decent amount of tunnel experience, maybe 35, 40 hours in the tunnel or so. And so lots of free flying with friends, lots of head down, and so that helps a lot. It's like head down on steroids, man.
Sure.
The visuals are absolutely mind blowing the first few times you can do it because the background is just spinning so much. You're seeing, if you're carving around a belly flyer, you see this belly flyer, but just the background is
Sure.
just absolutely crazy, dude, and it can get a little bit dizzy sometimes. I also made the mistake of trying to learn head down in my freak, and so, uh, so I did it. I did it just fine a few times, and then, man, I don't know what it is, but there's something about wingsuits that once you realize that you've got, or once you begin thinking that you've got a grip on how to fly a wingsuit, it tells you exactly that you have no freaking clue how to fly a wingsuit, and it's just this inanimate kind of, thing that just tells you, nope, you don't know me as well as you thought you did,
Right.
And so, yeah, learning to fly head down has been tough because you've got so much vertical speed, and then you try and transition that to horizontal speed, either by pulling out or just flying a different way. And the guys make it look so easy, but once you try and transition back to your belly, it can whip you around, and your leg acts like a sail.
Oh
And
man,
so I did that 2 times in a row. And the first time was like, shoot, I'm really disappointed in myself. The second time I was like, all right, I think I'm giving up skydiving. You know, it's just, man, it was terrible. So I did that twice. I almost threw up in the packing area, and my buddy was like, hey, man, I was really looking forward to free flying with you. I'm like, all right, let me grab my other rig. Let's go. I
well
think
that
I had to sit by the door. I was like, get that door open at 1,501 feet. I'm like, get that door open right now. I need some fresh air.
Hey, yeah, man. Well, I mean, the first time I ever got to see firsthand the power of those wingsuits in that orientation, I was out at the drop zone in Dubai just on a day off, and I would usually go out and just do hop and pops because I'd take whatever slot was available. But this particular day, I decided to go up to altitude, and at the back of the plane were a couple of the Mach 2 guys in their wingsuits,
Okay.
and they turned to me and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna bum out the door and fuck around." And they're like, "Get on your head and just stay there." Okay,
Dude,
cool. So
flying
I,
wingsuits around a belly flyer is one thing. Flying it around, getting the vertical speed to keep up with a free flyer is a serious set of skills.
oh, dude, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Wild.
Because I literally just got on my head and pegged it and stared at the same spot. And I've never seen people orbit and carve around me at that speed
Yeah. Yeah.
ever. There was literally, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. And, we landed and I had no fucking words. I'm like, what? And both of them are just like, yeah, it was cool, bro. And I'm like, are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
kidding me?
exactly. Exactly.
The fuck did I just see?
Yeah. Cool
You
stuff,
know?
man.
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah,
cool stuff.
yeah.
So
Just
so that's one of my ultimate goals, and something that I want to work on a little bit. It's I've kind of put that on hold a little bit. Like I said, I'm working on a little bit more crew and kind of the unique stuff. I got my rigger's ticket about a year ago, and so I've been making a crap ton of stuff.
nice.
And so that has been really fulfilling me right now. Just got my pro rating as well, so we're looking to do more flag stuff. Just building custom flags, and I've rebuilt some deployment systems and things like that with a little sewing machine. And so that's what's been kind of one of the most satisfying things to me right now is seeing a result, kind of, someone flying a flag and then building it, because I can only see the pictures. I can only see kind of, the yeah, I can't see the system, and so it's kind of up to me to design the system that's
Sure.
there.
Sure.
And so, yeah, it's been really, really cool to kind of see the result, but also build the systems from scratch in my head.
Sure.
And yeah, man, just seeing them come to life and seeing them actually work is awesome.
Well, and one of the great things about the sport is you don't have to just have one goal. I mean, you can
Yeah,
have multiple goals. I want to learn how to fly that way. I want to learn how to do this jump. I want to learn how to work on this gear.
Yeah.
What drew you to crew? That's kind of an odd pick these days.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of the next disciplines. And I think what kind of started that was I had never really had any interest in crew. I think that those guys are kind of a little bit cuckoo, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But because I mean they're literally wrapping each other with canopies in the sky, it's ballsy, dude.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating once you learn more of the mechanics of it. And so I don't really I never really had an interest in it, but I could appreciate it for sure. And so I think what made me want to start doing this more is for one, we're starting to integrate more flags with our jumps. So for demo jumps, things like that. And one of the thanks to social media, actually, I reached out to an XRW crew out in Southern California, mainly Luca, Dane, Ryan, those guys are all kind of flying together, doing some really, really cool stuff. So I had made contact with Luca maybe a year or even two ago. Started building that relationship, and he's like, "Hey, man, come out, fly with us if you ever want to come out and fly video or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So and up until then, these guys were doing some really, really great stuff with XRW. They still are. But just mind blowing stuff like high performance crew, right? So they're doing two stacks on like, layers and
Right.
stuff like that, which is crazy. These guys are having to wear Kevlar socks, just because of the lines. They don't want their ankles to get sheared off from one jump. And so just crazy stuff what these guys are able to build. They're doing Mr. Bill harnesses and things like that as well. And so I've done a little bit of that as well. But one of the biggest stunts, so Luca invited me out there. I was like, all right, let's make it happen. And so I booked a flight to California, San Diego area. And yeah, I've got some family out there. So I go out there pretty often. I'm like, hey, he's in the area. Let's go jump with him. And so what these guys had ended up planning, or Luca kind of organized it, was one jump with these guys from, I think Jim Woods is one of the demo team for the Navy Leapfrogs demo team or something like that. And I think that he's been on that team for like 30 years or something like that. So Luca knows him, said, hey, bring out the flag. Let's get another crew guy in there, string it up sideways. And so they basically had a two stack, went down, connected the flag, strung out a 1,500-foot flag, horizontally.
Right.
And they've done this before. So they would basically send the canopies and wingsuiters basically through both of the canopies right above the flag.
Sure.
Insane visual,
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. But so we invited him over again, and this was fortunately the week that I was out there, and they did he's like, basically, let's just combine all of these elements, right? So let's do a two stack with a surf dock. With a wingsuiter surf dock flying straight through, those gates above the American flag. So we did one jump, and I don't think that we were expecting it to be as epic as it was. I think that they were just kind of going to do kind of a flyby, like on level, I'm sorry, not on level, but on heading with those guys, and maybe 40, 50, 60, 70 foot above them.
Sure.
So the first jump we go through, the canopies fly through, the wingsuiters were a little bit too low. That was more of just a test jump to kind of figure out the feel, kind of how it was, see the range and all that kind of stuff. Second jump, we ended up he's like, all right, let's go for it. So they just straight up do the two stack. The wingsuiter comes up, Dane, he gets his surf dock, and they've built that by 10,000 feet, 12,000 feet, something ridiculous, just because these guys are so good. And he's like, all right, cool, we got visual on the flag. They work their way down, and dude, they fly right through there, and I'm like right on top of them, filming from the top, and I'm just looking at this huge flag. And what's crazy is, as soon as they got over the flag, I saw how close they were just with the shadow increasing. So at the very tail of the flag, they were maybe 20 foot above the flag, which is still ridiculously close.
Yeah.
As they're working their way down the flag, that shadow keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And by the end of it, by the time that they actually pass the leading edge of the flag, the blue section, Dane's feet are 3 foot within the cable that is,
Yeah.
strung between the two, and it was just like I didn't even know what to think. I remember passing the flag and I was like, man, did I really just see that? Did I really just film that? And before I even deployed, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really hope my camera's going, because like
Right?
I have one job. This is my first time flying with this massive crew, like the crew that is insanely talented, very well known in the sport. I'm like, I had better have got that clip.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out pretty good. Nailed the shot, and it worked out really good. And it's been in on Chive TV. I get messages from people all over the country, maybe every 2 weeks, like, "Dude, I saw you on Chive,"
Yeah.
and so it just keeps
Oh,
playing. But yeah,
I slowed that footage down specifically to be able to see the clearance as they cross the threshold past the flag. And that was one of as somebody that's kind of a generation back and not pushing that hard, that's one of those ones
sure.
where I'm like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Really?
Exactly. And
Really?
what's crazy is like maybe in another 15, 20 years, like what are they going to be doing then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, that was probably top five jumps of all time for sure. And I was just flying basically an XRW video, but it was just so cool to be a part of something so big,
Sure.
so epic. It made the local news in San Diego. Lucas sent it out to the news station, and they aired it, so that was pretty cool as well.
Sure. Well, now speaking of the publicity, not just that jump got, but that a lot of the stuff you've done, you got quite a big footprint on both social media and on YouTube as well. So when did that start for you?
Yeah, I think I mean, I just loved making videos, man. I never really set out to be kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna post this. Let's hope it gets a bunch of likes. I'm trying to get the likes. I'm trying to get the views, all that kind of stuff. I think it's all been just about having fun, and it really started with me just making edits and kind of trying to. I think at the root of it, the foundation of it is I wanted people to experience what I was experiencing and be able to kind of try and communicate how much fun I was having with my friends, just for them to kind of feel a part of it and also feel like, okay, maybe I need to try this.
Sure.
And so it started with kind of like cinematic, I guess you could call it cinematic edits, where I would just basically compilation jumps set to music and just cool fun jumps, just showing how much fun we're having, that kind of stuff. Uh, when short form video took over, which was probably about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I had already had a whole library of probably 500 small little edit pieces that I had been making the entire time for Instagram stories. And so once that transition of short form content kind of kicked over, I was already way ahead of the game. But it also helped that I think that I tried very, very hard to film regular things in a very unique way. And so one of the main contributors to that growth on social media has been deployment videos.
Mm.
And so there has been, I mean, I don't know if you've seen a few of those, but I think collectively they've done probably over 100 million views. I've reposted them, a handful of times, and each time they get 8 million views, 5 million views, 3 million views, something like that. And so I think that, but there was a ton of work that actually went into that. So the main clip that has gone off, it was a wingsuit deployment, and there was a lot of test jumps that actually went into figuring out how to film that. Not only from a camera frame rate perspective, but also from just a position, you know, uh, uh, like camera mounting. Obviously, you got to mount it backwards,
Sure.
but you have to be able to track the canopy blind. And so basically, when I would go to flaring was another thing. Like if I flared too much, that pilot chute's going to come straight 90 degrees off my back. If I don't flare at all, the canopy comes straight back towards my feet. The D-bag kicks my feet. And so it was kind of somewhere in the middle where I learned, okay, maybe I need roughly a 40 to 60% flare, and that would be a good view to send the pilot chute off because relative wind changes, right? Based on the flare. And so not only did I have to dial that in, but I had to dial in like camera settings, 2.7K on my GoPro at 240 frames a second. That's what I found to be really, really good. It's clear enough, but it's still really slow motion. And so that's the compromise that I had to make. But also, like, when I go back to pitch, I have to realize that I have to tilt my head to the left because the camera will be facing more to the right side of me. And so pitching and also throwing the pilot chute, and as soon as I throw it, I got to move my head back to the normal position. And then once that snatch force hits, I got to move my neck down like that. And so it's a lot of really like testing jumps, just to try and get the framing right. And
Sure.
and yeah, so a lot of work has gone into those clips that you see getting a lot of views. Now, that being said, social media sucks, dude. Social media, there's no telling which clips are going to go viral, which clips are going to go, get a lot of views. But I've gotten kind of a sense of what I think will go viral and what I won't,
Sure.
what won't. But I think one of the biggest thing is I've just posted because I enjoy posting and I genuinely want to share the fun that we're having. So
Sure.
you'll see a lot of like smiles in my videos. That's kind of what I'm trying to communicate to the viewer.
Sure.
Lots of fun editing that goes into it as well, and just unique stuff.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say you never know what's going to hit and what's not, because when you think in the millions of views for anything skydiving related, you think Red Bull guys fucking flying wingsuits through volcanoes and
Nope.
down mountains and shit like that. You don't like, I would not automatically go, oh, a huge fucking video would be watching my parachute come off my back.
No,
It's just not what
no.
would jump to mind.
The
But
best jumps, the highly technical jumps, all of the crazy dynamic angle stuff, the very, very skilled professional stuff that people are doing right now, mind blowing.
yeah,
It's not going to get any views,
no, which
and it
is
sucks.
it's insane. Like the only video of me that ever went anywhere got, I don't know, 200,000-300,000 views, and it literally was on a hop and pop where I just from the floor rolled out of the otter and
Yep.
tumbled. That
Yep.
was it. There was zero skill involved. It was all
Yeah.
gravity.
Yep.
So it's insane.
Yep. It sucks, man. So I've had to do a lot of balancing because it's very easy to go on social media, be like one of these little freshly licensed kids who decide to go do 5 balloon jumps, post those videos, do everything for the views, and get 30 million views.
Sure.
It sucks, honestly, but I, I've I think I've done a good job of balancing chasing views, but also trying to maintain status in the sport. Occasionally, I can get a little bit to the kooky side, but like I said, it's about balancing the views, balancing content that will get views to kind of maintain a social status, but also doing really, really cool stuff that shows and communicates, just for me personally, like, hey, I'm not a kooky 50 jump kid who's doing balloon
Sure.
jumps,
Well,
that,
and I
yeah,
mean,
that kind of stuff.
at the end of the day, when you have a platform like yours with what, over 100,000 on Instagram, 80,000 plus on YouTube, you have the ability to, with those so-called kooky jumps, to reach people that might not be in the sport that are going to be intrigued and drawn to
Exactly.
skydiving. It's nothing
Exactly.
but a good thing to bring people in. As long as it's not sketchy, dangerous stuff and it's just goofy and having fun, who fucking cares if it gets more people in the sport that we get to play with?
Sure, absolutely. But yeah, it's about image as well. Like, I'm trying to build up a professional image as well. And that's why I
Sure.
got a rigger's ticket. I kind of know what I'm doing. It also helps to be able to maintain your own reserve. It's so nice to be able to just maintain my own stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Not only from a cost perspective. I mean, I got 3 rigs now, so that's roughly $600 a year that I would have to be paying for, repacks. It's so nice to be able to swap stuff out if I need, send in AADs for service, swap pieces around. And so just it's more that, but also just a rigger's mindset of being able to technically understand the fabrics,
Sure.
the thread, and basically the processes that we use every single day,
Sure.
rather than just paying a packer, going on a jump and giving it back to a packer. I feel like if you're paying for all your pack jobs, short of having a disability or something like that, I think that packing actually makes you a much better skydiver.
Oh, I believe so as well. Not to mention, I'll never forget having a good buddy that was a rigger walking up to a manifest at a different drop zone and handing over his packing data card and seeing the manifester go, you can't jump, your rig's out of date. And he's like, oh shit, and
Yeah.
hand me that back, takes
Yep.
the card, grabs a pen, signs it, digs in his bag and stamps it and goes, there you go, I just forgot to do that. And she was like, fuck. There's
That's
nothing I
funny.
can do, and I'm stood there the entire time going, that might be the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I have heard of pencil packing a lot. I personally have not done any kind of pencil packing
Oh,
yet. It's just I jump in Texas, so there's a little bit of a little bit of dust, and so every 2 packs or so, maybe once a year, I'll wash each rig, and so that's it's just nice to be able to do that.
I mean, you should follow the safety standards
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get
yeah.
your rigs
I
packed
get what you're saying.
and
Absolutely.
take care of your. That being said, I may have once or twice pencil packed a rig over my career. Maybe. I'm not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
recommending that, but this
Not
shit does happen.
recommending exactly.
So
Do
now,
as I say, not as I do. Yeah.
absolutely. Now, as we get towards the tail end of things, we just finished talking about all your social stuff. So, tell people how they can check out your content, how they can find you both on Instagram, where your YouTube channel is, and how they can come out and make a jump or do a coach course with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Instagram is just my name, Evan Santangelo. Yeah, that one's pretty good. I usually post a lot of kind of short form content on there as well. As well as TikTok. I just kind of repurpose all my stuff and post it on TikTok. But if you want to find me on TikTok, it's the exact same thing. On YouTube, it's going to be the same thing as well. Evan Santangelo. I've got a little bit different format on YouTube. I do post all the short form content. But I also do kind of like a vlog series, and that's where my edits go as well. And so if you're wanting like actually cool, you know, cinematic-ish skydiving videos, I post the edits on YouTube as long form content, so horizontal basically. And then the vlog series is, or it's kind of a vlog. It's more of just like videos where I do a bunch of fun stuff, like kind of show you, behind the scenes of like pack jobs or just the cool stuff that I'm up to. So I just finished a few videos of me getting my pro rating, kind of the behind the scenes of that. I was doing a filming project for DJI, kind of documented the backside of that. We've got a couple really cool stunts coming up pretty soon, and so really just kind of like the everyday people that I jump with. It's a lot of fun stuff. Just to put up a video of me building that whole flag system, and so yeah, just more behind the scenes stuff that I really really love.
Awesome.
There's one video where I was building a relationship with the guys at the airport that we jump at, and this one guy's been flying for a number of years, and he flew his little baby Stearman. It's like a 16-foot wingspan, or it's a tiny plane. But he flew that with his smoke on in between two canopies, and so you'll kind of see like the background of or the behind the scenes stuff of our interaction, our planning process, our failed jumps, if you will, where we didn't line things up, and yeah, just stuff like that behind the scenes.
Nice. Now, how about courses? How do they track you down for that?
Yeah, so really I just do wingsuit coaching occasionally for a few friends. I'm really kind of focused on doing more of my own stuff. If there's, one or two students that I'll take on a year just to teach wingsuiting,
Nice.
I'm okay with that, but normally I don't really advertise too much coaching. If you want to learn how to video edit like me, I put up a whole course, and that's going to be at the link in my Instagram bio. And so it'll take you through pretty much every single thing that I've learned to be able to edit videos like me. The only thing that you would have to develop is not only getting a laptop, software, but also just developing an eye for it.
Sure.
And so I set out kind of with the goal of that course to be able to teach you guys tools that you can use in any software. It's done within Final Cut Pro. But I did my best to teach concepts rather than, how to use a software.
Sure. Dude, that's awesome, man. And I'll tell you what, it's first off, it's always great to meet new people in the sport, but I kind of
Likewise.
just reached out to you blindly, bless the internet and the randomness of skydiving.
It's
So
cool,
being
man.
able to, oh yeah, man, being able to reach out to a fellow jumper and just go, hey, you want to shoot the shit about nylon and gravity for a while? And
Sure.
so it's been fantastic meeting you and hearing everything that you've got going on. And I can't wait to see what the hell you've got coming up next.
Cool, man. Thanks so
Oh,
much for having me, man.
all right, Evan, take care.
Later, man.
See ya. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.